So WWE is getting $1.6 billion to host their pay-per-views on ESPN Plus. On Twitter, I said I will not be joining WWE on this venture because I don't want to pay $30 to watch WWE pay-per-views on ESPN. A lot of people said, well, pay-per-views back in the day used to be $50, it used to be $60. What's the problem? So let me give you a history lesson real quick, okay? Let's start this story 1995. MagMongoSlade is 11 years old, and I need to find a place to watch WrestleMania 11. Now, I got my friend Curtis. He lives 3 blocks over. He's got cable, but his mom and dad are not about to let him spend money to watch WrestleMania. Now, I do watch Raw over there because I'm poor and I don't have cable. So I'll go to his house and we'll watch Monday Night Raw. And then I'll call my mom and say, I'm on my way home. And I'll walk past these guys who wanted to beat me up on my way home from watching Raw on Mondays. Now, I do have another friend just 2 houses down. His name is Jerome. Now, Jerome also has cable, but he's got strict parents. They don't let him stay up. And they're certainly not about to let him have company that late in the day. So I don't get to watch Raw closer to home. So Curtis can't order the pay-per-view, and I'm poor. I don't even have cable. So we sit on the porch and we say, well, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, we can do the blurry vision thing. You know, we'll just turn it to the channel at WrestleMania and we'll listen to the show. And then I went one day, I remember talking to my friend Jerome, and he says his dad was going to order it. And I was like, oh, your dad's going to order it? Yeah, I go over there, you know, hey, Mr. Jerome. It's really weird. My dad's name is Jerome, his name is Jerome, and his dad's name is Jerome, right? So I call him Mr. Jerome. Mr. Jerome, how you doing? Yada, yada, yada. Can we watch WrestleMania at your house? He says, yeah, you know, you guys can come over whatever you want. So me and Curtis go over to Jerome's house to watch WrestleMania. And then from there, that's how we watched pay-per-views. We would always go to Jerome's house because we got lucky. See, Jerome just wasn't a fan. His dad was a fan. So he didn't charge us or anything for coming over to watch wrestling. So me being poor, I didn't order any pay-per-views. I didn't order a pay-per-view until 1996, and we had cable for about 8 months during that entire time. The first pay-per-view I ever ordered was Buried Alive. 1996, what was that? Maybe October or something like that. Mankind, Undertaker, Buried Alive. I did not order another pay-per-view until 1998. I was 14 years old. We finally got cable because we moved to a different house. And I ordered King of the Ring 1998 to see Undertaker and Mankind in a Hell in a Cell match. Mom got pretty mad because I didn't ask first. We didn't have money. But we had cable at that time. As most people know who listen to this channel, I stopped watching wrestling in 1999. At that point in time, 1999, 2000-ish, I came back in like 2004. At that point, I missed a bunch of pay-per-views, didn't order any of them. But I learned from when me and Curtis used to be younger, we'd go to Blockbuster and we'd get the tapes. That's how we watched events, and that's how we kept up with, you know, WrestleMania and Royal Rumble or whatever. We just go get the tapes. That was the easiest way to keep up with it. Coliseum home video. So I was like, 2004, I can go get the DVD. So that's what I would do. I would go to FYE, get the DVD. It's cheaper than the pay-per-view, and I could watch it as many times as I want. So I would get pay-per-views months late, sometimes years late, and I ended up amassing quite a DVD collection over a lot of the pay-per-views that I missed over this time. And then, of course, from 2004 to, was it 2014 maybe, I missed a bunch of pay-per-views. I ended up having a whole lot of DVDs because I never ordered a pay-per-view. Even when I had my own money, I never ordered a pay-per-view. Ever. WWE Network, I get that first day because it's $9.99 and I get everything. Even some of the shows that I missed. Shows that I didn't think were important enough for me to go buy the DVD. Or the DVD's price never came down. Now, I'm telling you, I went and bought these DVDs. Some of them were used. About 2-3 of them used, okay? So that's how I got most of my collection. I bought a lot of them used. So, me, personally, have never spent a whole lot of money on pro wrestling. Now, it looks like it because I have this massive DVD collection. So it looks like I spent a whole lot of money on pro wrestling. But I never went to shows. I almost never had cable to watch Raw. And I almost never ordered a pay-per-view. It's telling me that now, after years of $10, and I forget how much Peacock is, probably just a little bit more, that now it's going up to $30. And I'm only getting the pay-per-views, and these pay-per-views are kind of watered down. The creative isn't all that good. And now they're $30. Well, come on. And you're telling me nobody it's a crapshoot about whether the guys I really like might even not even be on the show? Like, we're not guaranteed to have a CM Punk match on the show or a Brock Lesnar match, and John Cena's going to be retired by the time this thing kicks in. So I'm going to be saddled with Solo Sikoa, Seth Rollins. Look, I'll just get a VPN, okay? Either I'll get a VPN or I'll have to sail the high seas or whatever the case may be. I'll find a way. I'll make a way. But spending $30 seems like a bit much. I'll tell you this, and most people don't know this. I don't even pay to watch Raw right now. I see Raw every week because I use somebody else's Netflix to watch it. I do not pay exorbitant fees for pro wrestling. I don't buy AEW pay-per-views. I have reviewed every single one on this channel. I have not bought any of them. When I was a youth, I never bought an ECW pay-per-view. I never bought a WCW pay-per-view. The closest thing we ever got to watch, even really paying attention to WCW, was Bash at the Beach. What was that, 1996? The big Hogan heel turn. We did tune in for that. Outside of that, we didn't even watch WCW. Watching WCW was like having knockoff Jordans. It's just something you really didn't do. Of course, WCW became popular after that, so more people started watching Nitro in my friend group. But out of my closest friends, we didn't spend a whole lot of money on wrestling. We got the tapes and the DVDs and such, but that was it. We bought the video games, and the video games were expensive enough. You know what I'm saying? It's just, I come from an era where I've always been able to avoid having to spend a ton of money on wrestling. And I'm going to continue that. You know, so this is a great business move for WWE. They're going to get $1.6 billion guaranteed, regardless of how the pay-per-views perform. And you, the fans, will be spending $30 for ESPN. And if you are into sports, you're into NFL Red Zone and all that kind of stuff, you're going to get all of that and you're going to be happy. But for me, I don't care about sports. I don't watch enough football to spend money on ESPN. I may watch a Lions game every once in a while. I may watch a Patriots game every once in a while. But I'm not a football junkie, right? There's nothing on ESPN for me. I'm not spending $30 on, not giving Disney $30 a month. It adds up. So I said to myself, maybe, just maybe, I will do $30 for Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and if they have a big B-level show that I think is really important, I'll spend the $30 for those shows individually. But just like I pay for Peacock and I barely use it, and I wouldn't use Netflix if I had it, I don't see the benefit in me paying $30 for ESPN. I don't watch sports like that. I was called cheap. People, tried to make fun of me online, especially when my tweet went further than I thought it was going to. And they don't understand. When I bought WWE Network, everything that I wanted was on WWE Network. I wanted to watch all the ECW pay-per-views that I missed that I didn't see on Blockbuster tape or something like that. I got to watch those. I got to watch all the WCW pay-per-views that I missed. I got to really go back and look at some of the Raws that I missed when I stopped watching wrestling for a long time. The WWE Network was worth it. All right? Everything I wanted was in one place. Now, they have separated these things. There's no guarantee that the vault is even going to be available on Netflix. I'm sorry, on ESPN. And all the Raws are not available on Netflix. So that tells me they're probably going to upload some stuff on YouTube, because that's what they've already started doing. They got a bunch of WCW whole pay-per-views that they're putting up on the WCW vault. They've got WWF pay-per-views that they're putting up. And I'm thinking to myself, if you go to ESPN, you're only getting modern stuff. And the modern stuff, I'm wishy-washy on that. $30? Like, if I had to pay $30 for this past SummerSlam, I'd be much more angry than I am. All right? I've been pissed if I had to pay $30 for this past SummerSlam. If I'd have had to pay $30 for this past WrestleMania, I'd be furious. Again, it's not 1995 anymore. Right? It's 1995. I don't care. I want to see the show. I don't care who's in the main event. But it's 2025, man. I'm not 11 or 12 years old anymore. There is no Blockbuster for me to patiently wait. Even though, Raw is going to spoil everything for me anyway. But I don't care. I want to watch the matches. I'll find the shows later. On this situation, there's going to be opportunities for me to watch the show live. So I don't see the reason to spend all the money for it. And here's another reason why I'm not really down with this endeavor. Because it seems to me that you just incentivize, by going along, paying more, you incentivize them to continuously do this. I mean, when people complained about ticket prices and then the buildings stay full, well, you can't complain about ticket prices anymore because people are paying that cost. So it justifies to them that they're doing the right thing. Yes, the average person, the blue collar average, guy is paying more to take his son to the wrestling shows. And I don't like that. I think that actually curtails fandom. And we'll see probably in about 10 years what ends up happening when, kids don't get these shows anymore because TKO has cut house shows. They've raised ticket prices and they don't come to certain markets. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to maintain that fandom. We'll see in 10 to 15 years how that turns out. But once again, taking WWE as something that was affordable to the average person, where a regular working guy would not mind letting, his son's friends come over and watch the show for free. Now you're saying, well, everybody's got, ESPN in their pocket. Go ahead and pay the $30. That's what I keep saying. Pay the $30. I ain't paying the toll. All right? I don't want to. I don't want to incentivize them to continuously take the brand away from its target audience. Nick Khan and his obsession with ESPN. Ever since he took control of the company, full control, he has done nothing but try to make it more and more and more like ESPN. They even admitted it later on. I think Mark Shapiro, one of these tiny hats that works for Endeavor, I forget what he does for WWE, but I don't really give a shit. But he said, well, we could have gotten more than $1.6 billion, but we wanted to partner up with ESPN for the brand strength. No, you wanted to partner up with ESPN because Nick Khan is obsessed with turning WWE into some ESPN product. This is why he brought in Lee Fitting, who used to work at ESPN. This is why every Raw you have people walking with their Starbucks backstage, because that's what they do on basketball games and football games on ESPN. This is why he wanted to have announcers that used to work at ESPN. Over and over and over again, this has been coming. Nick Khan is obsessed with two things: Las Vegas and ESPN. And now we've seen he snatched WrestleMania away from Minneapolis to take it to Las Vegas, gypping the fans in Minneapolis because they're not a big city. And you could put big city in quotations because Minneapolis is a big city, but it's not, the same level as Las Vegas. I'm talking about big market when I say big city, okay? So you take that from them. And now you took Raw from, if you have cable, you can just watch Raw on USA on Monday night. You took it away from them. You took Monday Night Raw from us and put it on Netflix. So, but most people do have Netflix, so you can't really complain too much about that. But I don't think most people have ESPN to be paying their digital streaming service. You have ESPN on regular cable, and some people will say, well, I'm not going to pay any extra money because I'm going to get it for free with my subscription of blah, 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 blah. I'm not subscribing to all this shit, man. Are you kidding me? You got to be shitting me. I got to subscribe to this to get that free. I got to subscribe over here to get something over here, a discount over here. It's like, this is worse than cable. It's worse than cable. Now you got to have 8 different streaming networks just to follow the product. And cable TV. Because SmackDown is on cable. What? At least Tubi is free. Now, I want everybody to get paid. I'm a capitalist. I don't care. But I think that when the company is trying to move away from its target audience, which is middle to lower class people who don't have the kind of finances that, oh yeah, we're going to take the company from you and move it to these big corporations that's going to charge you triple what you're paying now or triple what you would normally pay. If this was, 2014, again, $9.99, that's how much the network cost. You done tripled it. Now it's $30. What? And it's not like the product is so much better now than it was then. Come on. No way. So as soon as I heard about the ESPN deal, it just took me back to being a kid and saying, man, I remember the days of, I want to watch this. How am I going to watch it? Is Mr. Jerome going to let us watch it this time? Even though he always did. Am I going to be able to get over to Kurt's house to watch Raw this week? Even though I always did. So I always found a way. I'll just have to find a way. Because this ESPN thing, unless something changes, it doesn't look like it's a good move for me. For a couple of weeks, I did struggle when I didn't want to pay for Netflix. I struggled, but I didn't miss any Raws, obviously, but I struggled because to me, wrestling should be easily accessible for people. And this is not easily accessible. For me, wrestling has always been for the lower income individuals, affordable family entertainment. Now, I don't know what it's for. It's a vehicle for the tiny hats to make a ton of money. And hopefully the boys make a whole lot of money off this deal. And they're making money hand over fist, and I can't blame them. I don't vilify them for what they're doing. But I do say, hopefully their instincts are correct. Because you just make Vince McMahon look like a man of the people. Having house shows in small markets, even if it cost him money. Offering the product for a cheaper price, but for wider distribution. These sorts of things were I mean, they continued to grow the brand and grow the fandom. Now we're hearing WWE making these billion-dollar deals, but the product's becoming more and more niche. Now people are struggling to figure out how they're going to keep up with all this stuff. How are you going to keep up with all these streaming services? How are you going to keep up with all of these different products and programs? And, you know, like, it's more difficult now than it was when I was a kid. When I was a kid, you can get by just by watching Superstars, because that's how I did it from 1990 to 1993 or something like that. All I did was watch Superstars. I probably watched an episode of Raw every once in a while by going to Curtis's house. That was it. I started going over his house more regularly as like a preteen, like 11, 12 years old. But it's difficult now. I couldn't imagine being a kid today and trying to keep track of WWE. I mean, maybe mom and dad already got Netflix. Maybe dad's already paying for ESPN. Maybe. But if you're not one of those people who's already paying for it, so you don't mind this, for people who now have to try to figure out, I got to add this to my diet now, I got to add this to my budget, bullshit. No way. No way. The line has to be drawn somewhere. And doubling and tripling the amount of money that we have to spend while giving us less product, because the entire vault is not going to ESPN. Only the pay-per-views and only the modern pay-per-views. So they're giving you less product for more money. Just think about that. When WWE Network shut down, they didn't even port everything over to Peacock. It took a while. Then Peacock ended up with about around the same amount of stuff as WWE Network, but then they edited shit, right? When soon as they went up to Peacock, they started doing this editing thing, and people was grumbling about that because certain segments were cut out of certain pay-per-views, music was changed, a bunch of other stuff that had not happened on the network was now happening on Peacock. What the hell are they going to do on ESPN? Have you ever thought about that? ESPN is going to have their own standards and practices. How is the pay-per-views going to, and the presentation going to change? Look, and then furthermore, not just personal financing, brand strength, fandom. I also considered this. ESPN sucks. All right. ESPN is one of the wokest, stupidest fucking networks. They spent almost a decade shitting all over men and making a mockery out of sports. What do you think they're going to do with WWE? You think just because it's going to be on SportsCenter? SportsCenter is trash compared to what it used to be. Oh, it's going to be Stephen A. Smith. And Pat McAfee. They're going to be on the pre-shows or whatever. Who gives a shit? Stephen A. Smith is a bona fide 100% moron idiot. I don't want to see Stephen A. Smith on WWE. I don't want Pat McAfee loud jabroni ass on WWE pay-per-views. I don't want that. As a kid, I probably would have loved to see WWE on ESPN, because that's when ESPN was cool. Now, no. ESPN is the shits. They have a lot of money, sure. They have a big platform, absolutely. But the quality of the brand has diminished so far in the last several years that it's actually an embarrassment. ESPN is an embarrassment compared to what it used to be. So I'm not that thrilled about WWE partnering up with ESPN. But we'll see. I'm willing to give it a chance. I'm willing to give everybody a chance. Just, I don't see myself spending the money. Now, unless I come into, like if I have an uncle that dies or something like that and I get left some money in his will, then maybe I'll change my mind. But as I look at it right now, MagMongoSlade ain't paying the 30. It ain't happening. The line has to be drawn somewhere. That's like I said it, Tony Khan, you're charging $60 for a pay-per-view. Fuck you. It's not happening. Now, AEW is even more niche product. And they want to be a niche product. But WWE is supposed to be the worldwide leader, the McDonald's of pro wrestling. You can't be the McDonald's the Walmart of pro wrestling and you want to have Gucci prices, you're not going to get the right audience. Just not going to get the right audience. We'll see in 5 or 6 years whether I'm right or not. And if I'm wrong, then, well, I don't work there anyway, so it didn't cost me anything. But if I'm right, you're going to see wrestling fandom fall off of a cliff as families stop spending the money to go to these shows, and they stop spending the money to get these shows, to follow these brands around from different streaming services. There's a line everybody must cross. And we crossed that line a long time ago. People got rid of cable because eventually they said, well, shit, I'm not getting anything for this cable program. If all I'm paying for, $30, is for the 10 to 12 events you do per year, and that's it, I don't get to watch the old WrestleManias. I don't get to watch the old Starrcades or nothing. I don't get none of the old ECW product. I don't get none of the territorial product. And then we don't even discuss ad revenue. Are there going to be ads on these things? Oh, well, it's probably not going to be ads because, no, everybody's supposed to have an ad, a free ad tier, right? Peacock is supposed to have it. Netflix is supposed to have it. And guess what? You still get ads. You still get ads. They still go to commercial. So they're still padding the product because even if you have the ad-free tier, other people don't. So you're going to pay for less product and more ads. Pass. I'm sorry. You know, again, maybe if I got a rich uncle or a rich auntie who passes away, or I get a new job, or, you know, I get a huge raise, then maybe I'll change my mind. But as it stands right now, that ESPN WWE thing, dead to me. I'm canceling my Peacock as soon as this is over with, and we'll just have to watch whatever they upload on YouTube. That's that. As far as new events, I may have to find a way. Let's put it like that. But let me know what you guys think about this ESPN WWE thing. Some people are very excited because they're very much into sports and they already pay for it. So they just get to cut out Peacock, and that's just one less thing that they have to pay for. But some of us don't have ESPN. If you might have like a cable package that already has ESPN. So I don't think I do. So we'll have to figure that part out. But let me know what you guys think about this WWE ESPN thing, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out and be blessed.
Skin tone, so why attach yourself and piggyback the wealth you didn't earn or lack yourself? I'm telling you to own up to your own success and failures. It's a reason why these sleazy